All right. Hello, Susan. Good to see you again this week. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. What's new in your life?
So recently I just started my new job. It's been a couple weeks, which is why I haven't had a chance to catch up with you. I've just been trying
Mhm.
to adjust to my new schedule and everything.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot to juggle. Are you doing all right?
I'm doing okay. It kind of, at least for me, was like not ideal time to switch. I'm kind of wrapping up my semester
Mhm.
and adding on a new workload. So I am struggling a little bit to find a balance, but then it's also kind of like my semester ends in a couple weeks. So there's
Mhm.
light at the end of the tunnel, but just trying to get through these next couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And how is the new job treating you?
The new job is good. I definitely struggle a little bit with I work from home 4 days a week, so just making sure like I'm on task. And then I also struggle a little bit with like getting off my email because they tend to like work very late. Like they were on a call
Mhm.
at 5 a.m. this morning, and I was like, y'all, this is time to be asleep. This is not
Right.
time to be like on a work call. And they like had their cameras on. I was like, I am not a 5 a.m. work person.
Yeah, not an early morning person.
I am not.
No. Well, have you had any issues in previous jobs whenever you just started them?
I think yeah, I think there's always an adjustment period. I just think the biggest thing for me, like working from home, is trying to figure out like what the schedule is. Because like
Mhm.
in my
Mhm.
previous jobs, like work started at 8, work ended at 5. There wasn't this like, which I guess like the level of flexibility is nice with school, which is one of the things that attracted me to it. But there isn't like
Yeah.
there never was like, oh, my kid's asleep. Can we get this call knocked out before I have to take him to daycare at like 7:30? So like
Mhm.
I'm still adjusting to like that aspect of it. And I guess I didn't think about it. I just saw like the benefits of like flexibility with school.
Yeah, absolutely. And how have you overcome adjustment periods in previous employment?
Typically just taking time and kind of just like trying at least for the first couple weeks and months just to like go with the flow and kind of get a better understanding of like their expectations of me
Mm,
and just trying to find kind of that balance of expectations and where I'm at.
yeah, absolutely. So, um, I know you talked about struggling with time management currently. Um, what have you been doing to try to help with that? Have you been able to carve yourself out anytime?
Yeah, so I've been trying to use some of the things we've talked about like previously about trying to like be more organized about like writing down what I need to do and kind of like trying to make, I guess I make like kind of like a top 5 to-do list each day
Hmm.
that both encompasses like work things and school things, just so I kind of have an idea of where I need to be at, what
Hmm.
needs to be done, and trying my hardest not to be like procrastinator and to do
Sure.
things a little bit ahead so like the pressure is not as big.
Yeah. So it sounds like you want to be on top of your work before it gets stressful.
Yeah, trying to stay ahead of the curve and just yeah, and just also just remind myself that this is temporary, and then by the time class starts in the fall, because I'm going to take the summer off and just kind of
Mhm.
relax a little bit and adjust to work. My hope is that by August we go back to class. I'll have work a little bit more under control, and I'll make it a little bit easier to balance the two.
Yeah, and hopefully it will be whenever you become more adjusted with your job, because it sounds like that's your biggest problem right now, right?
Yeah, my biggest issue is just like the adjustment and kind of just figuring it out and just the new policies and like new expectations.
Yeah, and have there been times where you're really overwhelmed with that?
A little bit, because just like the way like my luck would sadly fall, I go into the office on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
I also have class on Tuesday nights, and Tuesday nights I have class from 5:30 to 10:30 ish.
Yeah.
So that's been a little bit of a struggle just because typically on Tuesdays they all want to like stay and socialize, and I'm
Mhm.
kind of like new, and I'm like, yeah, I want to socialize with you guys, but like I have class, so like I'm
Sure.
not
Yeah.
trying to be late. So I think sometimes that overwhelms me a little bit, just trying to balance like showing that like I'm friendly and like I'm interested in getting to them, but also being like, listen guys, I have 3 weeks left of school.
Mhm.
and school starts at 5:30. And if I leave here at 5, I get a little bit more of like a 15-20 minute window to like have a little bit of time to like get set for class. So I
Yeah.
think that's been the biggest issue so far.
Yeah, because it sounds like Tuesday's the busy day.
Yeah, so I think maybe next semester just not doing a 5:30 class on Tuesdays and picking a different day when I'm working from home, I think will kind of help with that. But for now, just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, and when trying to make the best of it, are there even 5 to 10 minute gaps of time where you can make some time for yourself?
Yeah, so what I've been trying to do, I just tried last week and I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow. I
Mhm.
typically get up and work out in the mornings. On Tuesdays, I've been not doing that and just like allowing myself to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, I'm required to be at the office between 8 and 9, so I have been trying to
mhm.
get there like 8:20, 8:30 to give myself a little bit more time.
Yeah,
And then every day at 2 p.m., I'm always like, okay, guys, I'm going to take a coffee break. And I walk to a Starbucks.
yeah,
And that, like, between walking there and getting it, usually gives me like 15-20 minutes where I just like to try to get outside. It's been rainy a little bit, but I try to get outside and just like during that time, just not use my phone and kind of just like walk and enjoy the fresh air and kind of let that be like 15 to 20 minutes where I just like recharge myself and unplug just both from work and I try not to think about school and just use that small period of time like we've kind of talked about in the past.
yeah, absolutely. And that's good that you're able to make some time for yourself. And it sounds like you also have some concern about, being friendly with coworkers. Have you ever thought about inviting them with you to your coffee breaks, if possible?
Yeah, I've thought about inviting them and I have like mixed feelings because a part of me is like, those are my 20 minutes just to myself during the day. But then
Sure.
another part of me, like, if I invited them, I'd be being social and then I'd probably be eliminating that. Think tomorrow I'm gonna try inviting someone who's been inviting me to go out with them after work.
Yeah.
And then my goal will then be just to leave right at 5 and then
Mhm.
have 20 minutes at home and just spend that 20 minutes before class trying to get like ready and spend a few moments alone and seeing if that kind of helps lower the anxiety at the end of the day and make the transition from work to school easier.
Absolutely. And, I do want to be mindful of our time because I know this session is coming to a close, but I look forward to hearing how that goes. And I'm glad that you see the light at the end of the tunnel and hopefully you have less balls to juggle in the near future. Um, so again, because I know this session is wrapping up, do you have any last minute questions, comments, or concerns for me?
Nope, I will just see you the same time next time.
Yeah, next week works perfect for me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. Good night.
Hi, Parker. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, Susan. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How's this past week been for you?
It's been all right. I'm in a newer relationship, which is good, and the semester is coming to a close. My grades are doing well, but I don't really feel like I've been as active as I want to be.
Yeah,
So
so do you just looking to get out like a little bit more? What does like being active look like to you?
yeah, getting out a bit more. I'd love to go out on walks. I don't necessarily need more people in my life. Not that I'm turning away people, but um, I'd love to go out to like parks or um, go to the mall. Just anything with sunlight, really.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really feel like I'm getting out of the basement too much with school right now.
Yeah. So are those types of activities something you like to do with other people or do you just like to get out and doesn't matter if you're by yourself?
If I'm too stir crazy, I do take the walking trails around here, but I wish it wasn't more of my last resort and I built a routine of it. And typically I do enjoy doing that with other people more.
Yeah. So what would like you mentioned like you wish it was a routine. What like if you could have your ideal routine that
Mhm.
included getting out a little bit more, can you walk me through what that would look like for you?
Yeah, I think because I'm not really a morning person, um, maybe around 10 or 11 in the morning, I'd love to have my cup of coffee. And then my neighborhood is actually like a 2 mile loop, um, that has like beautiful trees and scenery and fresh air. And I'd love to walk that. Maybe not every morning, but let's say 4 or 5 times a week, um, at least. I'd also like to drive and explore, like see new sites. As I mentioned, this new relationship that I'm in, she lives right next to Mastodon National Park, which I've never been. So I'd love to see that too.
Yeah, so is the idea of kind of committing to like 4 to 5 times taking that walk in the morning, is that realistic for you?
Um, sometimes I feel like it is. Um, Other times I feel quite a bit less motivated. It depends on how much um, schoolwork that I have. Um, I find myself procrastinating a lot, and because of that, I'm like, oh, I should really do these assignments, and then I don't do the assignments or the walk. So um, that poses a challenge, but I don't see why I couldn't start making a habit of it, especially over the summer whenever I'm not going to be taking any classes.
Yeah, absolutely. When do you think it would be realistic to really think about you starting to include this in your routine?
Um, I think the semester ends in about 2 weeks, so probably then.
Okay, so in about 2 weeks, kind of when the summer kind of kicks off for you, you're going to make a goal of trying to get out 4 to 5 times a week, just doing like a nice leisurely kind of morning walk.
Yeah, about 1 to 2 miles, nothing too intensive.
Yeah, and then hopefully when we get into summer, you have a little bit more time and you can go explore that park you were talking about.
Yeah, or just any park that's around too. I know Bluebird is right next to me as well, so that's another nice little park.
Yeah. And then how are you feeling? Because I know we've talked about in the past. How are you feeling about your semester wrapping up?
At first I was really nervous, but now that I've gotten quite a bit of feedback and I have a pretty good guess of how things are going to end up. I'm feeling pretty confident. So um, that's good at least. I still want to cross the finish line with good grades. Um, so I guess there is still a little bit of anxiety there. Um, but I'm feeling the best I have so far.
It's really good to hear. I'm really happy to hear that. And I know you've mentioned, we've kind of talked about in the past procrastinating. So how are we feeling in these last, I think you said about 2 weeks, how are we feeling with where we are on tasks? How much do we have to go and everything?
Yeah, I feel a lot more motivated to get things done sooner. And whether it works or not, or whether it's healthy or not, I tend to be motivated to do things for other people. So to spend time with friends and family, um, that's been my biggest motivator to get assignments done so that I can spend the rest of the time kind of stress free, relaxing with my family for the most part.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, whatever kind of helps motivate you to get everything done, and
Mhm.
especially if it's helping you like lower your anxiety and feel better about everything, whatever works, works.
Well, thank you.
Okay. And then I don't know if we've talked about it. Are you taking summer school classes or are we going to take the summer off? What does it look like?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the summer off. I'm looking to start applying for jobs, um, but it's going to be something relatively stress free that I just want to do part time to get a little cash in the bank, but nothing that I'm really worried about.
Yeah. So do you have any like agendas or anything specific you really want to do in these next like 3 months that you're off?
Um, my biggest goal is a financial one. Um, I just really want to save money because I am planning on going to a concert in October. So um, that's about it. I would like to raise about $2,000 or $3,000 for this concert, but other than that, I'm just looking forward to enjoying some time off.
Yeah, no, you've definitely earned it after this last semester. I feel like you had a lot of classes and kind of a lot to get done, but it seems like you're recognizing where you're almost there. Kind of, oh,
Yeah.
we're literally what, 2 weeks away, you said?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So are all your finals, you're studied, all your big projects, everything's looking good?
Yeah, everything's looking good. I have it pretty much done. There is one final that has not been released yet. But as soon as that becomes available, I plan on doing it that night.
That's good. That's really good. So now you're procrastinating it, just getting it done as soon as you can get it and just
Exactly. Get this semester over with.
that's good. I like that energy. I like that kind of that goal. That's good. I want to be mindful of your time. I know we're kind of wrapping it up almost. Is there anything else specifically you wanted to talk about?
Um, no, I appreciate you checking in on me and you know, setting up a goal to start walking more sounds great. And but in terms of other questions or anything, no.
Okay, sounds good. It was really good to catch up with you. Let's catch up at the end of your semester and we can kind of touch base on how the end of your semester went, and then we can kind of see how you are doing with that walking goal, and we
Mhm.
can touch base then. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Susan.
You're welcome. Have a great night, Parker.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.